And welcome again to the big match at the end of this really amazing week with another 40 players booked, yesterday taking the total past 100. A week when players really, and the referees too, have struggled to strike a balance between common sense and a strict observance of the laws. And today we salute a man who yesterday achieved that. Referee Tony Oliver of Essex, in charge of our game yesterday at Brentford. We salute too Malcolm MacDonald. He really struck it rich for Newcastle yesterday. And MacDonald, in fact, is the key man in our action today when we again bring you three matches. But first, it's Brentford against Aldershot.
Slipped as he tried to come out, so it's still Doherty now. But Brentford turning it back, and nobody to hammer it home. Graham now, can he turn it? Oh, against the crossbar!
The goals from Preston against Fulham.
Spark. Hit the post, what bad luck by Spark.
Thrills in plenty from Newcastle and Liverpool. Well, Tommy Smith missing from the spot there in a game that really was filled with fine goals and exciting football. Jimmy Hill is here to bring you his analysis. We take another look at your letters as well, and we've got one of our popular fun spots for all of you to enjoy. But now let's pick up with the action, and for that we go into the 4th division for Brentford against Aldershot, a good ground with First Division traditions to it. And Brentford now led out by Bobby Ross, a skillful Scot with a side, I suppose, that could well be amongst the challengers this season. This 11, incidentally, chosen from only 14 professionals on the whole of the Brentford staff. The number 11, Doherty, passed a test just before the kick-off. So that's Brentford. And then, after we've seen Brentford out, we come to Aldershot, led today by the big striker Jack Howarth, in the absence of player-manager Jimmy Melia, who is injured. It's a young Aldershot side that, according to their manager, has not yet got fully into its swing. So we have two sides with a tremendous amount of potential, enough to set a strong pace in the 4th division. And each side, in fact, has its experienced players. For Brentford, it's Peter Gelson, playing his 350th game for Brentford. Only two players in the club have done that before, Tom Higginson and Ken Coote. And Aldershot, too, have Jerry Gurr in goal, formerly with First Division Southampton, until a shoulder injury put him out of the game for a year. A referee, as I say, Tony Oliver from Leigh-on-Sea, Essex.
So a new angle on the kick-off as Brentford get us away in this 4th division match in their red and white stripes, defending the goal to our left. Aldershot this afternoon in light blue shirts and white shorts. And Brentford immediately making the running through Doherty. The number 7 for Aldershot, Dennis Brown there to give away a corner. Brentford, for their part, made a really disastrous start to last season, but then came very strongly in the second half of the season, and of course reached the 5th round of the Cup. Nelms trying to push it forward, Cross being pushed in the back there by Dean, and Cross down and injured, and looks to be in a fair bit of pain. Quite a hefty challenge that was by Dean. In the spectacles in the centre there, Frank Blunstone, the Brentford manager, of course had 17 years at Chelsea, came here in December '69. Brentford's first home game, and not at all a bad crowd. Roger Cross all right again. Brentford's free kick. Not a very good one though, but quite easily getting a foot to it. Graham nodding it back, and two Brentford players, both Doherty and Cross, caught offside. Melledew. Jocelyn making a break from the middle of the field, and Ross had spotted him and went with him. Did well there, Bobby Ross, and found Paul Betts. Inside now for Turner. Turner passing it now towards Graham. A long one forward, which Cross will pound after, but again Dean is there. And again Dean at the back, very impressive indeed, along with Walden and Bennett as well. And Burt, a very good looking back four that Aldershot should have got here in the 4th division. cross. Certainly Brentford so far have been able to make little headway against them. Graham a long one across the field. Brodie has come right back. Jocelyn looking for it in the middle of the field. Ross there, trying one first time, but wide. But certainly the intention was very laudable indeed there, Bobby Ross. And I would think one very interested Brentford player up in the stand, our own Jimmy Hill. And John Sydenham, the former Southampton winger, a real flying winger, the Aldershot substitute, beginning to warm up. And it looks as though the stretch is coming on now for the number 10, Jimmy Burt, who seemed to be involved with something with John Doherty. And Burt obviously in a... Turner couldn't control it, it goes into touch. Brentford's throw, and Bobby Ross. To Brian Turner, played on nicely there for Doherty. He's got Cross and Omar in the middle, and Graham coming up very fast indeed with a header, and Graham really didn't make too much of that, but it was a beautiful run by Jackie Graham for all that. Now Cross again. Turner with Doherty free outside him, and Doherty is given offside. Tremendous. Charlie George, who can hit him. Oh, a great goal! Charlie George!
And welcome again to the big match at the end of this really amazing week with another 40 players booked, yesterday taking the total past 100. A week when players really, and the referees too, have struggled to strike a balance between common sense and a strict observance of the laws. And today, we salute a man who yesterday achieved that. Referee Tony Oliver of Essex, in charge of our game yesterday at Brentford. We salute too Malcolm MacDonald. He really struck it rich for Newcastle yesterday. And MacDonald, in fact, is the key man in our action today when we again bring you 3 matches. But first, it's Brentford against Aldershot.
Slipped as he tried to come out, so it's still Doherty now. But Brentford turning it back, and nobody to hammer it home. Graham now, can he turn it? Oh, against the crossbar!
The goals from Preston against Fulham.
Spark. Hit the post, what bad luck by Spark.
Thrills in plenty from Newcastle and Liverpool. Well, Tommy Smith missing from the spot there in a game that really was filled with fine goals and exciting football. Jimmy Hill is here to bring you his analysis. We take another look at your letters as well, and we've got one of our popular fun spots for all of you to enjoy. But now let's pick up with the action, and for that we go into the 4th division for Brentford against Aldershot, a good ground with First Division traditions to it. And Brentford now led out by Bobby Ross, a skillful Scot with a side, I suppose, that could well be amongst the challengers this season. This 11, incidentally, chosen from only 14 professionals on the whole of the Brentford staff. The number 11, Doherty, passed a test just before the kick-off. So that's Brentford. And then, after we've seen Brentford out, we come to Aldershot, led today by the big striker Jack Howarth, in the absence of player-manager Jimmy Melia, who is injured. It's a young Aldershot side that, according to their manager, has not yet got fully into its swing. So we have 2 sides with a tremendous amount of potential, enough to set a strong pace in the 4th division. And each side, in fact, has its experienced players. For Brentford, it's Peter Gelson, playing his 350th game for Brentford. Only 2 players in the club have done that before, Tom Higginson and Ken Coote. And Aldershot, too, have Jerry Gurr in goal, formerly with First Division Southampton, until a shoulder injury put him out of the game for a year. A referee, as I say, Tony Oliver from Leigh-on-Sea, Essex.
So a new angle on the kick-off as Brentford get us away in this 4th division match in their red and white stripes, defending the goal to our left. Aldershot this afternoon in light blue shirts and white shorts. And Brentford immediately making the running through Doherty. With number 7 for Aldershot, Dennis Brown there to give away a corner in this opening minute. It'll be Doherty to take it. And pressure on the Aldershot goal area, but nodded away there quite competently by Dick Walton, the number 2 for Aldershot to touch. So it's going to be Roger Cross with the throw, formerly with West Ham. And a good long throw. Cross right in that goal mouth. O'Mara trying to get to it. Graham, in fact, turning it back again, and a goal kick to Aldershot. Jackie Graham. Grummett. And now Scales. Flick for Cross. Turn back there for Turner, who was coming on fast. Doherty looking for it as well. And still it's with Turner now. Will he thunder through with this? Down he goes, and a free kick given just outside that Aldershot penalty area, given against Ray Dean, the number 5. On Turner. So Gurr wanting 4 men in the wall. Four, he's saying, 4 in the wall. And indeed you'll see there are 4 men in that Aldershot wall. And they've got to get back 10 yards. And it's again in the referee's hands. If he doesn't get them back 10 yards, then they can well be cautioned, and in fact Howarth very nearly getting into trouble there on the left of the picture. And still not taken as they wanted. Cross now to hammer one, but too high. Brodie. Howarth, all taken from behind by Nelms, and Nelms didn't like it. But I must say, to me, that looked a good decision by the referee. Nelms here didn't think much of it, and Howarth, the number 9, was hobbling a bit there. So he obviously agreed, and it's Burr with the free kick for Aldershot. Again, Melledew right up there now amongst the strikers. Brown going in as well, and Brown using his elbows, he jumped. And again, the referee not happy with the way that one was taken. We are now hearing a lot of whistle. It's going to be Peter Nelms, in fact, or rather Peter Gelson to take the free kick. Dean winning it in the air. Ross now for Brentford to Graham. Doherty. Turned back very nicely there for Graham, and right in there for O'Mara, and O'Mara really should have made a lot more of that. That was probably the best chance that Brentford have had so far, with 35 minutes gone. A really nice little move there on the left. And it's Brodie for Aldershot. Leaving it now for Burt. Challenge there with Ross, and the ball going in to touch again, and again it's Brentford's throw, this time Paul Bence to take it. John Doherty. Really a tricky little customer, a nice little ball there towards the near post. Bobby Ross turning it back again. Oh, and Jackie Graham very nearly in there at the far post. O'Mara now for them, and a goal kick. No, it's I think conceivably it might be a free kick to Brentford. The players are looking puzzled. Gelson well up. Jocelyn equally well up for Aldershot. Walden. And Howarth winning that one in the air, but to no avail. Bence tidying up. chasing that, but chasing it straight into touch. Grummett. Stopped by Ross. Two or three Brentford players there trying to get the better of Howarth. None of them managed to do so as the whistle goes for half-time. Jimmy Melia there going straight into the dressing room. I presume he'll be pretty well pleased with the way that Aldershot have played in this first half, but Brentford will need to take much more of the initiative if home advantage is going to mean anything in the second half. Still to come on the big match today for you to enjoy highlights of Newcastle against Liverpool and Preston against Fulham. The half-time score here at Griffin Park, Brentford 0, Aldershot 0, and we'll be back with you in a couple of minutes. Right. Man in the spotlight, referee Tony Oliver of Essex gets the second half away. And Aldershot quickly in possession with Burt. Aldershot, in fact, who completed the double over Brentford last season. 3-2 victory here and a 1-0 victory back at Aldershot. Dean. Brentford, for their part, made a really disastrous start to last season, but then came very strongly in the second half of the season, and of course reached the 5th round of the Cup. Nelms trying to push it forward. Cross being pushed in the back there by Dean, and Cross down and injured, and looks to be in a fair bit of pain. Quite a hefty challenge that was by Dean. In the spectacles in the centre there, Frank Blunstone, the Brentford manager, who of course had 17 years at Chelsea, came here in December '69. Brentford's first home game, and not at all a bad crowd. Roger Cross all right again. Brentford's free kick. Not a very good one though. But quite easily getting a foot to it. Graham nodding it back, and two Brentford players, both Doherty and Cross, caught offside. Jocelyn beating Turner for that one. Brodie a long way forward. Nelms back to Phillips. Bennett pushing into the back of Cross, and Brentford's free kick. Cross now going up into that Aldershot penalty area to take up a position with O'Mara, and Graham's there as well. Ross also. There's Graham, number 8, Ross, number 10, and plenty of Aldershot players coming back to defend. In fact, only Melledew is up for them now. There's the free kick from Bentz, and Dean misjudging that one, but Walden covering him. Cross. Nice little play there to Ross, but there are so many Aldershot defenders back again. Cross beaten in the air once more by Dean. Doherty now, can he get a shot in? Back to Turner. Turner trying to cross it. Ross now breasting it down for Ross rather, and just past that Aldershot post. A nice little piece of pushing down there by Cross as that ball came over, and Bobby Ross here following up very quickly, but wide. Melledew. Jocelyn making a break from the middle of the field, and Ross had spotted him and going with him. Did well there, Bobby Ross, and found Paul Bentz. Inside now for Turner. Turner passing it now towards Graham. A long one forward, which Cross will pound after, but again Dean is there. And again Dean at the back looked very impressive indeed, along with Walden and Bennett as well, and Burt. A very good-looking back four that Aldershot should have got here in the 4th division. Cross. Certainly Brentford so far have been able to make little headway against them. Graham a long one across the field. Brodie who's come right back. Jocelyn looking for it in the middle of the field. Ross there, trying one first time, but wide. But certainly the intention was very laudable indeed there, Bobby Ross. The Brentford skipper trying to whip a bit of action into his strikers. Brown. Nelms, Ross. Bence and O'Mara. O'Mara at the moment looking to be that yard or so too slow. Offside given against Howarth on the far side. No more than a couple of yards inside the Brentford half, but it was enough. Bence. So a free kick to Brentford, and Brian Turner to take it. 2, 4, 5 Brentford players have gone up. A little chip. And again, Dean is there, head and shoulders above them all. Nelms. And certainly those Aldershot defenders coming out very quickly, but Dean had stayed back, otherwise they'd have been offside. And now it's Turner going on, and again stopped by Dean. Bence to get this one across. Walden had nodded away. O'Mara there as well. Now Turner to hammer one, and it's a goal! A deflection there, but it must go to Turner. And Brentford go into the lead with 17 minutes of the second half gone. A really powerful shot there from Brian Turner. A deflection in that Aldershot defence, and just beyond the reach of Gurr. So really Gurr stood little chance with it. Turner every chance with a shot with that sort of power, and Brentford go into the lead. Howarth taking that one from Walden. Jocelyn have to increase his work rate still more in the middle of the field, and he's done a lot already. And Brown, a long ball. Melledew trying to get underneath it, and Howarth trying to hit one as well. And Gelson to get it away for Brentford. Doherty now. Well, that might well liven a game up. So much of it seemed to hang with Turner, who was coming more and more forward in the second half. Taken out of the game there. And obviously something happening too between Doherty and the number 10, Burt. And I would think one very interested Brentford player up in the stand, our own Jimmy Hill. And John Sydenham, the former Southampton winger, a real flying winger, the Aldershot substitute, beginning to warm up. And it looks as though the stretch is coming on now for the number 10, Jimmy Burt, who seemed to be involved with something with John Doherty. And Burt obviously in a fair bit of trouble, and the ominous looking sign, you notice those two legs strapped together. Well, a blow indeed for Aldershot, because Burt has really looked very impressive indeed in this Aldershot back four. Frank Dunstan, you notice, on the touchline there, giving a quick word to Bobby Ross in the background. Frank Dunstan now coming out, having come out of the director's box, as he so often does when the feet begin to itch. So John Sydenham, a lot of First Division experience, and few wingers who in his heyday were faster than John. Free kick with Brentford, and Bentz with it. Floated again into that Aldershot penalty area. Amara again trying to get to it. Brown taking a long time to put that back and then deciding against putting it back. Grammett. And the first touch of the ball now for Sydenham, the substitute. Cross. And Turner couldn't control it, it goes into touch. Brentford's throw. And Bobby Ross. To Brian Turner, played on nicely there for Doherty. He's got Cross and Omar in the middle, and Graham coming up very fast indeed with a header, and Graham really didn't make too much of that, but it was a beautiful run by Jackie Graham for all that. Now Cross again. Turner with Doherty free outside him, and Doherty is given offside. Tremendous piece of goalkeeping there though by Gurr, all to no avail, and another player down, the number 3, Jimmy Grummett. So Cliff Huxford, the old Southampton player, has got to come onto the field with the Southampton trainer still attending, or rather the Aldershot trainer still attending to Jimmy Burt. Well, I would think Jimmy Melia must be a little upset that the goal has gone against them, and not only that, the injury to Jimmy Burt, which looks to be fairly serious as well, all in the space of a couple of minutes. Shirley's still got some pretty fair reflections. Or did I mean reflexes? Jocelyn going through Doherty's challenge. And Grummett. Stopped by Ross. Jocelyn again. Oh, straight to O'Mara there. Aldershot really at the moment completely out of their stride as Ross puts it forward again. Stopped though by Bennett. And Jocelyn once more there to get it for Aldershot. Grummett again. Brodie. And Nelms should be well in control of this one along with Phillips. For Graham, turned on well there for Doherty. Gurr slipped as he tried to come out, so it's still Doherty now for Brentford, turning it back, and nobody to hammer it home. Graham now, can he turn it? Oh, against the crossbar! And Turner again trying to turn it back, it's not out yet. Doherty with his head, but misjudging it. And still Brentford in possession now with Jackie Graham. And a throw, which I would think they'll probably get Roger Cross to continue this pressure. No, Cross is not going. What a tricky little run by Jackie Graham. He's really shown some fine touches this afternoon. Brentford's throw, and indeed rather belatedly they are leaving it to Cross. They wanted to be taken quicker than that while the momentum and the pressure was still on Aldershot. O'Mara again at the near post will be the target man for this throw. And O'Mara, in fact, oh my goodness, how did that one go over? But somehow it did from Doherty after O'Mara had done his work at the near post. There he is, John Doherty, as perplexed as anyone, I would think. So very nearly number 2 for Brentford. Dean. To Walden. Good ball there by Walden, straight to Brodie. A ricochet off Nelms. And Scales following it out, but it's a corner to Aldershot. Fraction over 10 minutes to go. Brentford leading by a goal to 0. And Aldershot really piling men forward now for this corner. 9 players from Aldershot now either in the penalty area or on the fringes of it as Brown takes this corner for them. Phillips, though, judging it well. Grummett. Bence, O'Mara, Turner. Much more competitive and entertaining second half. Dean with a quick throw. Aldershot now wanting to do everything fairly quickly as time begins to run out for them. Grummett. Dennis Brown. Brown to Jocelyn. Walden slipped as he tried to cross it, straight there for Turner, and now to Roger Cross. Bence, Turner, and Nelms. A long way forward, and oh, that's fallen nicely for O'Mara. Oh, and he's hit it over. Well, what he's trying to say is I tried to dip it, but he couldn't dip it, and it went well over that Aldershot crossbar. And now it's Sidney. With a little over 2 minutes left, Melledew, and really Aldershot have got to do something about it now. Swept wide for Brown. Just recovered from a hamstring, having his first game of the season, Brown. Jocelyn to try and put it through again for Sydenham, and down goes Sydenham, and nothing is given. No penalty, said the referee. As Sydenham looks up hopefully. Felt he should have got something. Gelson, a long one forward and cross to chase it. But Walden should get there first for Aldershot. No messing, and Brown now, Dennis Brown. Bennett, Jocelyn. Brown again. Melledew looking for this one, and Nelms jumping beautifully above him to nod it away to safety for Brentford. Jocelyn again now. Sydenham trying his luck on this side of the field. Full of tricks, but he couldn't find a way through. Brown again. Played wide there for Jocelyn, an interesting looking ball this. Now can Jocelyn cross this one? Howard looking for him with his head. And Grummett is right in there too! And they've equalised with practically the last kick of the game! And it's Jimmy Grummett who's done it! That really must be almost the last kick of the game. And it makes it 1-1. Well, that silenced every one of the Brentford fans. It looked as though Brentford were coasting to 2 points. And suddenly out of the bag, that long cross, and Grummett really made it. And there, in fact, hardly time to kick off. And Aldershot have got a point when it seemed no point could possibly have been theirs, with Jimmy Grummett, the number 3, in the very last half-minute of the game. And Brian Turner thoroughly disillusioned, having scored the Aldershot goal, which could look as though it must have given them 2 points. But in the end it didn't, and we're left with a final scoreline that says Brentford 1, Aldershot 1.
So a really dramatic finish there at Griffin Park, Brentford yesterday, and still to come on the Big Match programme today for you to enjoy. Highlights of Preston against Fulham, and that really tremendous game up at St James's Park, Newcastle, between Newcastle and Liverpool, starring Malcolm MacDonald. Now, some of the Brentford fans that I spoke to after the game yesterday said that must have been the worst performance by their side over the past few years. I think, if anything, that must be a little bit on the strong side. But everybody seemed to agree that referee Oliver had a very good game indeed. I spoke to the managers Jimmy Melia and Frank Blunston about that afterwards. First of all to Frank Blunston, and I asked him if the players were affected by the events of the last week.
Possibly, but I thought this referee did exceptionally well, and I was very, very pleased with it. I thought he did very well.
Jim, what about your fellas? Do you I mean, were they aware of, obviously they were aware of 70-odd bookings in the week. Did this inhibit them in any way?
No, I thought, as Frank said, the referee done tremendous today compared to what we've had over the last 3 or 4 weeks. I thought he let things go, which I thought was a hard game, but a fair game. And some of the tackles today would have been booked possibly last week, but today I thought he was very sensible about things. I thought the players done well, you know.
But had you fellas played your part by having words with your players beforehand? Did you instruct them as to the way they should
Well,
play?
I think we always instruct them, you know, not to do anything stupid, but I think the referee is the one who makes the final decision, you know, on things. I thought both of them done well today, the referee, the players, you know.
Did you say anything, Frank, to your players, very briefly?
No, Brian, I just told them to play within the laws of the game, which we always tell them, and they did this today without any questions at all.
Frank, Jimmy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank Blunston, Jimmy Melia. And now we turn to Jimmy Hill for a view from a player at Brentford yesterday on the Brentford team of today.
Well, in fact, I felt a little sorry for the Brentford team today because we rarely go, of course, to Brentford and see teams like Brentford and Aldershot, and they really wanted to do well, but unfortunately, with their early season form and nerves and jitters, they didn't do as well as they'd hoped. It was a messy game with flashes of very good skill for the 4th Division. Peter Gelson was rock-like on his 350th appearance, and Brian Turner I like, for it was his enthusiasm that brought about the first goal. He's had a tremendous run which led up to this move, and in the end it was he who scored it. The ball's headed out here, and John O'Mara, who the crowd thought could do no right, did at least one thing right in nodding that ball off. He's 6'4", and here comes Brian Turner, steaming in there, a left foot shot, and he got a deflection. You can see it quite clearly there, but I think because of his enthusiasm, he deserved that little bit of luck. And then, of course, in injury time, in fact 2.5 minutes after 90 minutes, Roger Jostling crossed this ball. Howarth lets it go there. I don't know whether he got a shout. And here's a bit of 4th Division skill from Jimmy Grummett. A lovely dipping volley, dropping into the far side of the goal. You notice how much he had to aim for there because he's going for an angle and he's got 8 yards of goal to drop it in. A really superb 4th Division goal. But one of the amazing things about yesterday's game was an incident that nearly led to a penalty. John Sydenham was tripped, and it left me wondering whether if this incident had occurred outside the penalty area, bearing in mind the way in which referees are reacting today to fouls, whether a foul would have been given. He plays the ball away clearly, you can see. He's tripped, goes flying through the air. I wonder what in these days would have happened if that had been on the rest of the field of play. And you can't help thinking that the laws, if they are going to be applied as strongly as they are being applied, should apply all over the field of play. You can see John Sydenham really angry there. But the other thing that it left me wondering after the visit to Griffin Park yesterday, when one talks about Frank O'Farrell having problems and Dave Sexton having problems, what problems there really are in the 4th Division for Jimmy Melia and Frank Blunston. 14 players for Frank Blunston to choose from. You can say the 4th Division is a training ground for players. It's the toughest school in the world for potential 1st Division managers.
Well, our next action on the Big Match programme today, in fact, is a brief look at Fulham's visit to Preston yesterday. Fulham, in fact, who have made a pretty sprightly old start to the season with a lot of goals, but they found it a lot tougher at Preston yesterday, where our commentator is Gerald Sinstad, and where the pictures come from Granada, and Preston are in white.
Fancy, but nothing else. Epaulet gets it through to Spark and takes it back. Clark racing free, pulls back to Macklemoyle, and he's got that. Beauty! Just on the half hour, Preston go ahead, and Hugh Macklemoyle scores in his first game. Johnston. Spavin reading it well and making the tackle cleanly. Macklemoyle bringing it out of the ruck for Ham. Ham resisting the challenge from Dunn, but the foul given nevertheless. Spavin with a moving ball. Epaulet, Macklemoyle, and he scored again. Protests from the Fulham players, but Mr. Baldwin won't have it.
Well, in fact, this is probably as loosely a taken free kick as I've ever seen. Of course, we know the ball should be stationary, but the referee and the linesman standing right on the line there do allow it to be played like that as it's rolling. And it leads to the goal, and although, of course, players shouldn't protest, one can understand the Fulham players being a little upset at conceding the second goal like that.
More excitement in the second half.
Clark. Macklemoyle at the back of the penalty area. Spark there with him. McMahon shot blocked. Spark tries one. Not a bad effort with Spark's right foot. Spavin. Clark outside him on the left. This is Heppelet infield. Spavin again. And Heppelet now with some space to operate. Good ball out from Macklemoyle. Spark! Hit the post, what bad luck by Spark!
Well, there we are, poor old Fulham. They were beaten up at Preston yesterday. Well, now we turn on to some of your letters. And first of all, I suppose we ought to clear up a point from last week's game between Derby and Manchester United. We've had several letters saying that Derby's first goal should have been disallowed because of an unfair challenge by Frank Wignall on the United goalkeeper Alex Stepney. S. Jones of Barking in Essex, Andrew Henderson of New Barnet were amongst those who wrote. And J.A. Power of Mitcham said that he thought it was a little unfair of Jimmy Hill to criticise United's vulnerability in the air at the back when Derby were allowed to get away with a challenge like this. Well, Jimmy, were you too critical?
Well, Mr. Power, I don't think I was, because I was judging by the highest professional standards, in fact the standards by which Frank O'Farrell has to judge his own goalkeeper and his defence. And when a goalkeeper makes up his mind to come for a ball like that, he knows there's going to be opposition in the penalty area, it's always crowded, and it's his responsibility really to hold on to it. But in this incident, as it happens, I don't think it was a foul. I think Wignall here was going for the ball too. I think he almost expected to head it. But Stepney had come out between him and the ball, and naturally there was a clash. As they fall together, I didn't see an arm pushing. I think it was no foul.
So there you are. That'll give you some idea of the qualities that a goalkeeper's got to have to stay right at the top in the First Division. Another letter this week, and a very interesting one, from John Cross of Hatfield, who noticed the West Bromwich Albion goalkeeper Jimmy Coombs swinging on the West Ham crossbar last week. And John wondered just how much strain those crossbars can take without snapping. Well, I checked up at West Ham this week, and I found, in fact, they're very strongly built indeed. They weigh something like 100 weight and a half, and they have a steel band going right through the middle of them, hence the springiness that you'll see right now as we show you again this incident with Jimmy Coombs on the crossbar. The corner from John Eris, and there you see Jim Coombs doing his swinging act on that West Ham crossbar. In fact, having seen that, we wondered if perhaps it might not be a very good idea if goalkeepers everywhere took the hint and perhaps gave football a little more of a swinging image.
Now I'm the king of the swingers, oh, the jungle VIP. I've reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me. Oh, ooby-doo, I want to be like you. I want to walk like you, talk like...
There we are, the first of our little fun spots for you to enjoy, and we should be sprinkling those fun spots right through the season on the big match. More letters, of course, from you next week. And now we have some more action, and it comes from that really wonderful game that they had up at St James's Park, Newcastle, yesterday, when Malcolm MacDonald made his first appearance in front of the Newcastle crowd, and what an impact he made. And so it's Newcastle against Liverpool, where our commentator is Jeff Thomas. The pictures come from Tyne Tees, and Newcastle are in the striped shirts.
Trying to get that touch to MacDonald's head. MacDonald so close to it. So the red shirts of Liverpool again streaming forward. Coming up towards the 10-minute mark. Still no score. There's Keegan. And that was the big fellow Toshak going in very solidly to McFall, but Keegan so well positioned. Well, he certainly got a sense for it. Too far for Lloyd, and out comes Clements. So that was Smith now to Lindsay. Toshak down to the young fellow, bounced off his chest, or upper arm. Tudor and Gibb. Keegan again, he's really got plenty of energy. And that hurt as he went down, but Toshak's got the ball, and that's what counts for Liverpool. Here's Highway. Obviously such a quick thinker and quick mover as Steve Highway. What a beautiful ball. No one there to take it, though. Not quite far enough. Emlyn Hughes, left foot. Oh, what a shot! What a shot, Emlyn Hughes. 10 minutes and 45 seconds gone as Emlyn Hughes with a cracking left foot shot. Really gave Ian McFall little chance as that ball bent over the top of the goalkeeper's head and into the back of the net. Highway. Now Gibb. Tudor, well done for MacDonald that. Nice bit of play by Tudor. Beautiful ball there for David Young. It's a penalty. It's a penalty, no doubt about it. David Young helped to the ground. A lovely through ball found Young so clearly, and when in such a beautiful, advantageous position as he was, pushed to the ground. And Mr. Farley in no doubt about that whatsoever. So Newcastle United through Malcolm MacDonald, if he's the one to take the kick, with the chance now to score what will be, if it goes in, their very first goal of the season. And remember that their opponents today, Liverpool, have already scored 7. So here's the chance now for the man we spoke about at the beginning of the programme, Malcolm MacDonald, to write his name into the book. 24 minutes and 20 seconds gone, and Malcolm MacDonald, on his debut at St James's Park, scores his first goal and United's first goal of the season. £180,000 worth of player, and from the spot he makes the scoreline read: Newcastle 1, Liverpool 1. So Liverpool back where they started now, after having made a lot of the running. Lawler. Burton. But the whistle's gone. United's free kick. Bobby Moncur anxious to get on with it. Back to McFall. And obviously calling for the throw out to Clark to open it up. Dangerous, he's off his line. Toshak could shoot, could be difficult. It's a goal! And Ian McFall might well hold it off his head. It's been disallowed. Well, I cannot tell you why that's been disallowed. Keegan, if anyone wants to get a goal, this is the time to get it in these last few minutes before the half-time whistle, because it's almost certain you'd go in with a 2-1 lead. Keegan appealing, and it's been given. It's been given. Frank Clark doesn't believe it. And I think it will be very interesting to see just how close to the penalty area that was when he was tripped. And how ironic that I should just be talking about somebody going to a 2-1 lead in the closing minutes of this first half when such an incident should occur. So it's a penalty for Liverpool, with Keegan being brought down by Clark. Smith to take it. It's not in. They fall over themselves in the efforts to get to it. St James's Park goes mad. The referee whistles up, and it comes back for what looks like a free kick to the Newcastle goalkeeper, Ian McFall. Well, I've never seen so many relieved supporters at one football ground, because it was London to a brick, as they say in some parts of the world, that was going to be 2-1. So perhaps the boot now on the other foot, and United could conceivably go in with a very advantageous 2-1 lead. MacDonald with the chance to make it that. There it is! And MacDonald scores his second. And Newcastle accepts Malcolm MacDonald, Tyneside, as a new hero. So here we go then for the second 45 minutes. That's the scoreline. Malcolm MacDonald pushing back to Tommy Gibb. And Newcastle United in a happy position, but must know very, very well indeed that they can never afford to relax to a team against a team such as Liverpool. Hibbett. In comes Callaghan, the other number 11. Keegan there. McFall on his line. It bounced awkwardly for him over the line. What will it be? It's a corner. Well, McFall obviously in trouble as that ball bounced up and hit him in the face. Keegan very quick to come in and seize the opportunity and couldn't quite finish it off. So Callaghan goes over for the corner. Emlyn Hughes has words with the newcomer. Bobby Moncur looks worried, as well he might, because obviously the red shirts of Liverpool are massing yet again. Callaghan with the kick, right foot. Toshak's there. McFall not tall enough, off the line by Malcolm McDonald it was. Hooked back, still in play, over the top. Well, a dramatic couple of minutes there for the defence of Newcastle United. And Ian McFall obviously a little bit upset after that ball had hit him in the face. And it looks as though it's gone for another corner on the far side, so the pressure is far from off yet. McFall's confidence can't be 100%. He's got to forget the previous incidents. Lloyd up there. McFall again slightly off balance, but Hibbert's there to rescue his side and give them that very valuable, important breathing space. There's Larry Lloyd. Liverpool very keen to come straight back with this. Now Clark. And Moncur wincing as he went down then. Here's Toshak, but Burton in front of him. Highway again. Nice bit of play by him. Beautiful weaving and turning, and McFall scrambling for it as it just slid wide. But what an entertaining 2 or 3 minutes, and Highway finished it off with that lovely run, which unfortunately for him wasn't quite accurate enough. Lloyd. Moncur. Lloyd again. Hibbert. McDonald's calling for it. Tudor's free on the right. This time he sees him. In comes Gibb to help it on its way. There goes Tudor now, number 8. This is more like it for Newcastle United. Slipped in, but not strongly enough to meet Larry Lloyd, and straight behind. John Tudor, who's been slightly ignored, I think, out on that right-hand side. Number 7, Keith Dyson. Tommy Gibb with the corner. Up comes Ollie Burton as well, so Newcastle are bringing up all the timber. Hibbert on the edge of the box calls for it. Tudor didn't have a chance in the world of getting to that. And a Highway underneath it. Craig from behind. Back comes David Young. To Burton, who's a long way upfield and should really get back to cover at the back a bit more. Lawler to push it forward for Liverpool. Keegan again running. He's died a little in the second half, but still a very, very impressive player. Now John Toshak, Clark with time to find Hibbert. Hibbert with time to look for somebody and search them out up front. Dyson going on the right if they want to use him. Tudor going forward in the middle. Now McDonald, chance! Oh, what a goal! What a goal! It's a hat-trick for McDonald. Oh, it's sensational here at St James's Park. Oh, what a home debut for Malcolm McDonald. What a beautiful goal as well. Should be Burton's ball. The free kick going against Burton for pushing John Toshak. So 30 minutes now gone in the second half, 15 to play. Liverpool down by 2 goals. Newcastle, of course, leading 3-1. And the free kick coming from a push by Ollie Burton on John Toshak. Emlyn Hughes leaving it, pushing it now. Smith, beautiful touch over by Ian McFall. Tommy Smith really letting that one go, hoping for a bit of revenge for that missed penalty and bringing the best out of the Newcastle United goalkeeper. So the corner then, as Liverpool try to continue this pressure. Thompson in a swinging ball. Lloyd obstructed. Keegan got down to it. It's in. Yes, Keegan scored it. So there he is, the man who's worked so hard for Liverpool, finally bringing it off. And it was really an opportunity missed there, as Lloyd was clearly obstructed. And Keegan saw the opportunity, got ahead to it. McDonald. Well, McDonald's got the chance now. It's one of those situations when you've got one choice. McDonald took it, and unfortunately Not only was that the result, but he missed the goal, which was wide open as well. Clements is in a bit of a state as well. McDonald still flat down. And assistance being called for. And it doesn't look very good for McDonald. I have the feeling that he was knocked stone cold. And really now is very, very groggy. Time, of course, being added. But it looks as though the end of his debut for Malcolm McDonald. What a way to come off. 3 goals to his credit, and virtually carried off the park.
So Malcolm McDonald, in fact, slightly concussed there, but he went home after the game. I suppose all Luton fans are ruining the fact that he had to go up to Newcastle, and certainly one must sympathise with Luton not having quite the finances to hold a fine player like that. And clearly, McDonald, with that wonderful old left peg of his, is going to worry quite a few First Division defences this season.
Well, just think of the pressure that was on McDonald at this point, taking his first penalty for Newcastle. I wouldn't have allowed him to take that penalty because of the pressure. And you can see how relieved he was there, but on the other hand, one can't help wondering how much that helped him to get these 2 further goals for his hat-trick. This is a beautiful bit of skill there, and it's that trusty left peg. We've seen him score these goals from Luton from that angle, and it's the power that wins. It goes straight in the middle of the goal over the goalkeeper's head, but he can't react in time because of that extra power on his left foot. Here's John Tudor, number 8 there, laying on this 3rd goal beautifully for him. A lovely little flick. He pushes it again onto that left foot, and this time he chooses his spot and slides it in the corner, the only spot that was open for him, past the goalkeeper. A really beautiful hat-trick, and there's a toothless, happy grin.
With every reason, I should think, because hat-tricks in the First Division don't come all that often, so well done to Malcolm McDonald. But now, what about the situation now with his clamped down by referees, the situation in the game at the moment with over 100 bookings in the last week? With Jimmy Hill here, a man really in a unique position because former chairman of the PFA, a manager as well, so really knows all aspects of the game, and yet you can be totally unbiased about the whole thing, Jimmy. What's your view on the situation as it stands now?
Well, I think looking back, of course, the league made a very bad mistake in not consulting players and referees and holding a meeting, and managers as well, to give them the chance to assimilate all the changes or the changes of emphasis that they were trying to make in the application of the laws. No question about that, that was a bad mistake, and the league should repair that as soon as possible. I think where they went wrong is not understanding how difficult it is for a player on the field to change one tiny habit. I mean, you can train players at a movement for 9 months and get them to do it once on the field, you feel you've had some success. In the heat of the moment, an athlete can remember very little.
So what are the priorities there in terms of change that you want to get through to the players?
What I would like to see, first of all, is for the players to give the league time to repair that mistake. There's no question about it. A meeting has to be held, and I would like to see that meeting held over days, not weeks, because for no reason at all the game has got itself a lot of bad publicity. I mean, we should be sitting on top of the world at the moment. We're winning in Europe, our teams are winning in Europe, we're coming up for another World Cup in a year or so, where we're bound to have a chance of winning it again. Why should we suddenly commit harikari in this particular way? It's very, very sad, but it's not irreparable. I mean, I think if strong action is taken now, if the players and the managers and the league and the referees get together, which shouldn't, I know it's difficult, but it's possible, I'm quite sure that we will be able to make some improvements. But they should do it 1 point at a time. 8 or 9 points were made, 8 or 9 different emphases on the laws that have been tried to be done. If they had just said, well, we're going to cut out violence, we're going to make a special attempt to cut out violence, let's work at that for this season, then that may have worked.
Well, thank you, Jim. And in fact, there's more on this subject in ITV's Man in the News, who this week is the present chairman of the PFA, Derek Dugan, under fire. That's all from us. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you next week.